Good morning, everyone. This is Jennifer Sanchez. You are watching the Wise Morning Coffee Chat Show. I'm your host this morning. Super excited for our guest today. Welcome everyone for watching. So, who am I? I am the founder of the Women's Institute of Self Development and Efficacy, WISE for short. We help women become unshakable, faith filled, and purpose driven through conferences, retreats, networking events. We have coaching programs and mentorship opportunities. So, we also have a 501c3 running community where we help women become, more positive. What is it? Body positivity, right? We encourage women to become healthy. We want to help women holistically, right? So, one of the things that I'm a true believer in is if you are not healthy, if you're not taking care of yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, it's going to show in your business, it's going to show in your professional life, it's going to just reflect on who you are as a person. So that is who I am. Oh, and then of course I got to throw in there, I'm a real estate investor as well. So I've been in the real estate investment world. It's going on 2 years. So I'm super excited about that. And I also work for National Reinvest, and I help people, learn about investments, how to get into real estate investing, and how to find rehabs, how to find projects. That's, I do the marketing and the logistics behind that organization. So that's who I am. I will pass it over to my co-host this morning.
Good morning, Wise community. My name is Kimberly Montesinos, as you know, or new guests that are jumping on. I'm the owner of Crystal Clear Cleaning. We are a Northwest suburban residential cleaning company. I also service small offices like real estate offices, insurance offices, private small offices as well. And I also believe in a healthy environment, just like Jennifer is into you taking care of your body. Part of taking care of your body is, what are you putting in your body? What are you breathing? What are you cleaning with? So I'm also a marketing rep for Melaleuca, which is a online non-toxic store, just like a Costco or Sam's, that you can order and have all products that are non-toxic delivered to your front door. So those are the things that I'm really into. And I also, over the summer, received my life coaching certification because I love helping women. I used to be the girl in the back of the room who never wanted to be seen. So, like, come from the back, join us in the front, and be your authentic self. So that is me, and also a mother of two adorable adult children, Christian and Carla. So that's me in a nutshell. I'll pass it over to our lovely guest, Michelle Velasquez. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you, ladies, for having me this morning. My name is Michelle Velasquez, and I'm a financial coach. I'm also an Airbnb host, a real estate investor, and a mom of 4 kids under the age of 10.
Wow.
So that's a little bit about myself.
God bless you. I'm like, God bless you. Jeez, 10 and under. Holy, I can't handle the ones I got.
So thank you for having me this morning, because I opt out of the morning routine. So thank you, ladies.
No, of course. We got to do this more often. Be like, hey, we need you for the show so you can get some breaks in the morning. Because can you imagine getting 4 kids ready in the morning? I know that's a lot. I can totally imagine, right? But kudos to you, Michelle, for doing what you're doing with young babies at home. But it's pretty exciting to have you on the show and get to know you more. So we have people jumping on. Make sure you guys engage, guys. It's interactive. Ask questions. We'll show your comments, right? Don't be shy. We will not bite. I promise. So let's go into the segment of the reason why we even do this show. So the show started through the pandemic, right? It did start through the pandemic. It did.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of a thing, and I'm sure Michelle, and Kim, I know hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee. You meet someone and you want to meet with them, sit down with them one on one, and you want to get to know them more and see how you can collaborate, right? So then I took that concept and said, why don't we do a coffee chat and actually do it as a show format, right? And bring on guests and have coffee together. So that is why we do coffee time here on this show. And I'm a big believer that the way you drink your coffee tells me a little bit about you. So how about we let Michelle go first? Michelle, what are you drinking this morning? And you can show us the mug that you're drinking out of.
So when I took control of my money, I decided to go from Daily Dunkin' to Kirkland or Dunkin' from Costco. I invested in Mr. Coffee, a $35 machine that I use every morning. I have had a lot of health issues over the last 2 years, and I'm very open about it. So I've had to remove a lot of dairy out of it's been really difficult, but I am with almond milk.
Oh.
I love
That's what's
almond
in my
milk.
coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. That's awesome. I love that. And how about you, Kim? What are you drinking this morning?
Well, just like Michelle, and thank you for sharing. I'm a huge addict of coffee, but thanks to our lovely founder of Wise, my girl, my hook up. I am addicted to the mushroom coffee, and I have to say, ladies, I feel so much better drinking it. And if you're around Jennifer, you're gonna get addicted to being healthy. So since I can't run in the running club, I do everything else possible that she shares. And the coffee, I just the same thing with the I use what's the milk I use? It's not almond milk, it's oat milk because I like creamy, so it's a little bit more equivalent to milk, but I don't use the dairy either. I use my oat milk and my mushroom coffee. So what about you, Miss Jennifer?
Yeah, I have, of course. So I'm for those that know, I love coffee. I'm coffee fanatic, right? I would do 3 to 4 a day, right? I was
Mm-hmm.
that much, but I notice too much stimulation, right? It's a stimulant. And of course it was causing bloating. It was definitely starting to take effect on my body, so that's why I went to the mushroom coffee as well, because it's supposed to help with the bloating. And I don't know if you guys saw the rice commercial and all that. And it doesn't taste like coffee at all. Let's just be real. It does not taste like coffee, but it helps. So I am drinking the mushroom coffee out of a Faith Family and Friends mug that I have
Oh,
here.
I
I thought
love
it
it.
was a good mug for today's show, especially because I know Michelle's also a believer and we're believers. So I thought, why not, bring this cup here, right? But what I really love is the fact that we get to do this and share this with our viewers. So you guys that you're watching, make sure you guys are sharing what you're drinking, right? And of course, I do still drink coffee. I'm not gonna lie. Like if I'm really tired, especially through the working out, because I'm in that 75 challenge and doing all this health stuff right now. Sometimes my body just needs that caffeine. So it's like, get a cup of coffee, black, honey in it. That's it. Like nothing else. If I want a little bit of sweetness, I just put a little bit of honey. So just sharing that to the viewer. So here we have Liza. She said water with chlorophyll. That
What's that?
is, yeah, you gotta, you
Liza,
know,
do share.
yeah, I want to say it sounds like something you put in the pool, but I'm sure
I
that's
know.
not it. Just saying. But
Oh,
I would
that's so
like,
funny.
but definitely share what that is, Liza, with us. And then we have another user. She's probably writing from our private Facebook group. Good morning, beautiful ladies. Me too. I drink coffee black or with organic almond milk. I love rice mushroom coffee the best. Yep.
Wow.
Of course, we have Lilia Herrera. Good morning, ladies. She's on here supporting the show.
Morning.
So, good morning. And we have another Facebook user. Good morning. So, if you guys are commenting from the private Facebook group, remember, please put your name, just so that I know we know who's chatting with us. And then she put, Liza, tastes like mint, good for detox. Oh, okay, so
Wow.
it tastes like mint. Cool.
Okay.
There we go.
That
Now
sounds
we
good
know.
then.
Yeah, it sounds great. Okay, I was a little worried there. I was like, what are we doing here? I know we like to be healthy, but man. Oh, we have one more, another supporter here. Buenos dias, ladies, from Jeanette Artiega. So, another fabulous wise woman here on with us. So, thank you guys. So, Michelle, let's go to you. We want to get to know you. Tell us a little bit about, you're a financial coach, right? What you were talking with us offline. How'd you fall into this world of financial coaching?
Yeah.
Well, it all started in 2010. I was a young law enforcement officer. My dad died, and we met up in a room with my sisters. I were four additional sisters, so five of us, and everybody was like, "Hey, how much do you have to contribute to Dad's funeral?" And so it got to me, and I was like, "I don't have anything." And so at that time, I was like, "Whoa." Like I have no, I'm like, I have a college degree, I have a good job, right? A law enforcement job, and I really had nothing to contribute. So I caught myself like crying in the room, and I was like, I never wanted my kids to feel like this or anybody to ever feel like this. And so I was the only sister not married. So not only was it just like, hey, but now I felt the bigger sense of responsibility of like, mom needs help. I what I did have, that's a big no-no, right? I always put my 10% away in my retirement account. And so in that moment, I was like, all I have is to pull out. I'm like, I have to help my sisters. Like there's no way that I can help them in any way. So I pulled
Mm,
out. And that was the beginning of the journey of the interest of like, hey, I need to learn how to really budget my money. I really need to continue to put the money in my retirement account. And I started to do all this like self help. Later on, fast forward, my husband and I get married. My agency with Homeland there was a huge nationwide, not just Homeland, of a lot of suicides that were going on with law enforcement. And so they were rolling out a financial program for the officers and agents and saying, hey, why is it that our officers and agents are committing suicide, or our suicide rate is high in different departments? And
wow.
they tested a pilot program at work. And so they said, anybody who wants to take it. And my sister-in-law, Jeanette's here. Jeanette actually took the course with me. My husband, we were able to bring our family. And so we went through the financial program. And at that point, my husband and I had separate finances. And the
Mm,
reason was that, like, I talk a lot about in my programs is healing, right? We come into marriages, we come into relationships with past traumas, I call them, our money traumas. For
Yeah.
me, I
mm,
grew up with the spending parents. Mom and dad were both spenders, and they weren't savers. I married my husband, their family, super savers, right? And so we
Mm.
come to this point of like, and I get it. He didn't trust me, and that's just, I'm gonna call it out. My husband did not trust me with money. I wouldn't have trust, I had a dad who gave me everything I wanted, I got. So it was that point where he was kind of like, I'm not ready for you to throw all my hardworking money out the window, you know? And after the program,
mm.
we decided, he actually came back from a men's retreat at a New Life Church, and he said, babe, God spoke to me at this retreat. And he said to me that if I was going to trust you, that I had to trust you with everything.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And so that day he sat me down on the island and he said, I need to know what your debt is like. Oh my God, I didn't know where to hide. That Southwest commercial, Wanna Fly Away, came to mind. Because at this point I was like, oh my God, like he's serious. If we're in this for the long haul, we got kids, how are we gonna do this? Right. I ended up disclosing, I was like, I still have 57,000 left in student loans. I had my master's from Loyola. I was like, I have 3,000 in credit card. And then I had a brand new Acura TSX car. So at that point, we made some decisions, right? I got rid of the TSX, loved it. I thought I was really cute in it. And I was like, if I'm serious, I also have to have skin in the game. And
Yeah.
so from there on, that started with our marriage finances, mending our healing our past traumas, our past relationships, all that good stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I love this. I started helping people, family, friends, sorority sisters, and it was just me sharing everything that I was doing.
Mm,
And people were like, "You're really good at this." My sorority sister's like, "You should become a coach." And I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm kind of good at this. I really enjoy this, right?" And
Yeah.
from there on, I became a master trainer coach. I did a certification, And then I just started taking different programs, business coaching programs, other financial coaching programs. And I realized that there was something missing in all of these phenomenal programs. A
Beautiful.
lot of mindset. And
Mm,
so I am a Ramsey master financial trainer, but I felt like even though Ramsey has helped millions, I don't advertise myself as one because I do deviate from the program.
Mm,
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 And so when we talk about it, when I sit with clients and I say, "Oh, we got to save $1,000," and my figure is 1,800, not 1,000. Ramsey step one is 1,000.
1,000.
It's like people are like, "I can never make 1,800. I can never save $1,800." So it's like, how do we get us, right, as women, into that mindset of like, "Hey, yes, you can." Switch the mindset instead of saying I can't. Is what can I do to make it happen?
right.
Yeah, yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's kind of a little bit of how I started with the coaching, why I'm so passionate about it. I'm passionate about helping people with retirement. My dad never made it to retirement. Luckily, I was blessed to leave law enforcement after 16 years this year, leave the 9 to 5. I've already helped 2 women in my program leave their 9 to 5s to
Nice.
pursue their dreams. So, it's something that I'm passionate about and I truly enjoy.
You know what I really love
Oh.
about this story? No lie, no lie. There's
No,
a
there,
couple
I'm
things.
with you.
Couple things that came to my mind. Right, one is, and please don't let me forget this because let's put a pin on it. Right, the fact that you see it as money trauma, right? And no one really says, "Hey, you got some money trauma here," right? Be like, "What kind? What are you talking about? Money trauma?"
Mhm.
So that I love hearing it in that way because it gives you a different perspective towards how we manage money, right? Um, and then secondly, I love the fact that the field that you're in, you got into it because people saw it in you, right? And and I think that's a big indicator of like people will tell you where you're supposed to be. Like people will tell you in the set, and that I'm saying like you will be like, oh, I'm good at this. I didn't realize I was good at this. Like you were called to go into coaching. You kind, does that make sense? What I'm trying to go with
Oh,
versus
absolutely. I felt God. I would wake up in the night and I would tell my husband, I feel God's telling me to leave. I would go to scripture and God was like, I trust in me. You can do it. Like so for me, it was definitely a calling. And I'll share an embarrassing story that is embarrassing, but it's my reality. With the day I knew that I had to leave law enforcement, it was my day I had to go shoot at the range at work. And I have
Mm,
been shooting for 16 years and I had never failed. That day, I failed. My hand was hurting and I legit failed. And I saw the target flip. And I felt like God was like, you should not even be here because I've called you
mm,
to leave. I've called you to leave. And out of, we talk about being God fearing. Out of the fear, I was like, oh my God, like if I don't leave as God's calling me, I'm going to get pushed out.
oh
And so
yeah,
Mm,
for sure.
wow.
If we don't listen, eventually you're gonna get forced out, no matter what. Right? If that's the calling, if that's where God is leading you and you're not obedient to what God's telling you, eventually it's gonna happen regardless, right? If you're like my coach or like my spiritual mom says, la consentida, right? If you
Mm,
are God's chosen, you're God's favorite, no matter what, he's
mm.
gonna take care of it. You might lean this way a little bit, you might steer away a little bit. He'll bring you right back. Like, no, no, no,
but I
we're over
really
here.
struggled with disobedience for a year because I was still working after I knew that God had already called me to leave because I was like, how do I leave a government job? How do I leave my benefits, my health? I was going through some health things. So for
Yeah.
me, it was like that fear of like, God, I'm really got to trust you, go all in. And even when I left, and I wanted to share this when you guys were talking about the coffee this morning, when I left, I had a cancer scare. When the
Mm,
day that when I gave my paperwork and said I'm leaving, I was the breast. I had done my mammogram because I was like, I'm going to get all my tests out the way before I leave the 9 to 5, make sure everything's good. And my test came back negative, where they said we need additional ultrasounds and screenings. You might have breast cancer.
mm,
And I said, and I wasn't even scared at that time. And I said, Lord, you've called me, you've put me through whatever. I'm going to keep moving. And I
mm,
and I know it's not cancer. And honestly, I was without the insurance. We were trying to figure all that stuff out for 2 months. And when I went to Northwestern, I was like, I know it's not cancer. I sat in that waiting room and I was like, nope, God called me. He's not giving me cancer. He has better things for me. And it wasn't. But what it was, and I'll share because we talk about coffee in this chat, is they had found calcifications in my breast, which is an excess of calcium that when we drink too much coffee or when, the calcium gets removed out of your body and it gets deposited into different areas of your body. And I wasn't aware of that.
Wow.
And so they found that on my breast, and I do seek a natural doctor. They told me to put some iodine for a month on my breast because that means I was lacking iodine in my body. And so, but that was a scare, that I still had to trust even in that season of not knowing. And it was hard. I'm not going to sit here it was easy. It was mentally hard.
Oh, absolutely. I can imagine.
Wow.
Kim, you got any words?
Oh my God. We don't have time for all the stuff I have to say, but I'll say a few things because first of all, I used to attend New Life, and the New Life retreats. Jennifer knows since 1999, I went to my first women's retreat and I became hooked. But one of the most impactful retreats I've ever gone to is New Life's retreats. I went through the whole 3 sessions of 3 different ones, the Destiny, the first, and I had never been in anything so deep. So when you said your husband came back from a New Life retreat, my son Christian went to his very first retreat as a young boy at New Life, and they're life-changing. I love what you said when you sat down, exactly what Jennifer said about the money trauma. It hit me like a ton of bricks. My husband, the children's father, who we separated, the biggest fight we had, Michelle, was I came from being an only child, given given things. Money came easy. I didn't understand money. He is an ultimate saver. We fought all the time about that, but we had no one around us. And trust me, I was asking for help. But listen to this. Oh my God, community, listen to this. If you ask the wrong people for help, you don't grow. I was asking people who were in the same, didn't understand, they were in the same realm with us. They didn't know how to help us, right? So even though I knew there was something wrong, we didn't know. And I can't tell you enough that I have heard so many times in couples that when you get married and you become vulnerable and you open up about your finance and you come together, you're stronger. The relationship is better, bigger than ever before. So you said a lot of great points about, I love the trauma. I love like being honest, like, okay, I'm a super spender. You're a super saver. How are we going to make this work? And let's be honest, like you coming forth and saying, I got all this debt. Where do we start? Beautiful, beautiful for us to understand that we have to be vulnerable to that significant other in order for it to really, really work. I never did that. So that's why I'm being honest about that was my default, my wrongdoing in my marriage. And I love that you committed once you took your mess and made it your message. And so I love that phrase, take your mess and make it your message. And look at what it's a spiral effect of how many of us, I'm sure ladies listening on this now today, when it gets streamed are going to say, oh my God, I can relate. As you were speaking, I was writing notes like, oh my God, I can relate to that. I can relate to this. I can relate to that. So it's so important to have women in our community that are relatable, that are vulnerable, and then can provide some tools to help us get over those humps that keep us stuck. And money is huge. It separates people. It depresses people. I mean, money's not evil. You just have to learn how to utilize it.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And I can't stand that saying. I know it's people always twist the scripture, right? And they say money is evil. Like, no, like the love of money, it says the love of money is evil. That's a whole different thing. You need money to do work, right? You need money to get missions done, like
to impact. Absolutely.
Hello, like how do you think? I'm not gonna go into this. I was about to start talking about like churches.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Let me not do this.
Oh my God, we don't have enough time today because I have all these little bullet points on Michelle. Just before I forget, just thank you for being vulnerable and sharing, because it's so you can never go back, and don't be a shoulda. I shoulda. But when you learn something, from that day forward, make the change. From that day forward, say, I know better, I'm going to do better. And don't have regrets, but just make changes so that you can have the life that you dream of or that you deserve.
And you really can. And that's not like, I never imagined, after 16 years of law enforcement, that I was ever going to leave or that I was ever going to get out of this debt, because I felt like every paycheck, I remember $433 every month went towards student loans. And I felt that that was never going to go away. So,
Wow.
when we think that you can't, you won't.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. It
Well,
definitely
Jennifer,
is a
isn't it
mindset thing.
true? I'll just say this to Jennifer because she has a whole program for personal development. And
Mm.
I've done quite a few, and I love Jennifer's, but I'll say one thing that's common in most all personal development programs, whether it's business, even in my business coaching arena, the first thing they start with is mindset. No matter what you do, no matter what you're trying to, if it's health, if it's business, if it's personal, if it's money, first thing, mindset across the
Mm.
board. And if
Yeah,
they don't start with it, run.
absolutely. And I mean, if you're developing yourself, right? And I don't know, however many years, some people might just be starting their development journey. Like, I'm loving this challenge because I'm on my third book and it's only January. What day are we on? January 22nd. You know what I'm saying? Like, that just, to me, development is life, because if you start working on your mindset and you
Mhm.
really get focused in on that area, everything's going to fall into place, right?
Right.
Because,
Mhm.
right, you have to start there. And even like it's a muscle, you got to exercise it, and if you want to become better, that's what we do. So the fact that it's like there's a financial piece, money makes the world go round. We need to understand how money works. We need to understand how we can utilize money. I know we've
Yes.
read some of in our book club that we used to have, Dave Ramsey books. I know women love Dave Ramsey, right? Like, they love the whole saving 1,000. I'm more into Laurel Landmeyer, right? So Laurel Landmeyer is
Mhm.
more about, building wealth and using other people's money and using debt.
Mhm.
So I mean, but all at the end of the day, you have to understand it. Some people love Susie Orman, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So who are you going to follow so that you can do what you need to do?
Mhm.
But let me share these comments. I love the whole trauma thing. I really do. Like,
Mm. Mm.
because for me, healing's a big component of me. Like, I'm constantly trying to heal. Like, and yesterday I was listening to one of the books, and it was saying, or was it a podcast? Like, you won't know the real version of you until you're healed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That,
wow.
that was like mind blowing. I was like, oh, so
Mhm.
you don't even know who you truly are until you're healed. And
Wow.
I believe healing is a constant thing, because you're always, we're imperfect people, so you're always going to get hurt, right?
Yep.
Michelle, we're going to say something. Like,
Yeah,
you're about
yeah,
to
I
say
was,
something.
because as you're saying that, I was listening to, so I did the Tony Robbins Women's Cohort, and they have this Wheel of Life section that you need to be good in all of these 7 areas before you even get to the financial part, right? Like your mindset, your health, your spiritual, all of these areas. But when you were
Wow.
saying that, it just really reminded me of when you're completely healed. We're conditioned to be this person, and I caught myself as a mother. My sonny son, who's 7, he'll come clean, and he comes and he does things because he knows that's what I like. And so I realized, like, oh my God, I'm conditioning him to do, but is that really him? And so
Mm,
all of our life, we are conditioned by our parents, by our peers, by our friends. And then when you're your authentic self, you feel this liberation, this freedom of like, oh my God, this is me. I had a client this week make a decision, and she said to me, what do I do? And I said, what would the millionaire you do?
mm.
Wow.
And so
Yes.
she's like, yeah, that's good. She's like, and I said, yeah, if you were a millionaire, what would you do? So think
Mm,
that
Yeah.
even if you're not a millionaire, think that way. If I was a millionaire, what would I do?
mm.
Mm.
That's good. That's good. That I love this. This is, oh my
I
God, I
do
want to keep
too.
talking. I want to keep
I
having this
know. I do
conversation.
too.
Let me share these comments real quick. And then we'll wrap up, because I know it's getting there. Maria Vera, morning ladies. She wrote, mental health affects all areas of our life. Absolutely. Jeanette said, I started with making a coloring chart and saved 5, 10, any cash until I received 1,000. That's
Mhm.
awesome. That's awesome. Sue said, love this testimony, Michelle. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for serving. God bless you, Susan.
That's good.
Um, we also have
Mhm.
Maria again. She said, beautiful testimony, Michelle. And then we have amen to that, Kimberly, and thank you for all this information. Ooh, we have one more comment right here, and it says, "Yes, Kim, me too. Grew up given everything and married a saver. I went to him for help and be honest, but he didn't want to help. Asked the wrong person. Duh. Was always a fight. This is great. Yes, mindset, Sue." So I love that. So let me ask this question, Michelle, and then we'll wrap up. What for the women that are watching, or men, because I know we have men that also watch the replay. So thank you for supporting. What's the one thing, if anyone can leave from listening to this, what's the one piece of advice that you would give them as a takeaway after listening for today?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, one? Jesus. Okay.
I know
So
there's a lot, but what's your biggest one?
my biggest one is definitely your your mindset. I mean, you
Mm-hmm.
can't go beyond it. You can't move. If you don't have your mindset in place, work towards your mindset, because that's the only way that you're gonna build, you're gonna grow, you're gonna heal. Everything comes from yourself. You get out of your own way.
Ooh,
Oh,
I
I
love
like that.
that.
Get out of your own way.
Get out of your own way. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. And that's why I love, so what we do, and Michelle, we work on mindset, right? We work on the setting the boundaries, the time management, the goals, the vision, right? We do all that stuff. And what I love about when I see a woman come into our sphere and our space and we start working with them, then they start like, then they're ready to catapult into other areas. Then you
Mm-hmm.
see them take other programs. Then you see them do this and that and this. And then you're like, oh, dang, you know, slow down there, right? But it's a mindset thing. And predominantly we
Mm-hmm.
work with mindset. We work with accountability. That's why we do the masterminds, right?
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the accountable. It makes all the difference, even in coach in my space, right? It's you holding them accountable. I give homework, them coming to you, and so the women that are in your program are growing because they know you're keeping tabs and you're asking how you're doing and you're
Yep.
checking in. And we need that. Even when you go to the gym, if you have a coach, you need that
Amen.
accountability.
Yeah.
Amen. I
Yeah.
love my gym because I go there. I don't have to think. I just had this conversation last night with a group of ladies, three of us. It was a very intimate meeting last night. And we were talking about accountability. And that I said, I've become better with my health because when I go to that class, we have a coach and he's like, okay, you're on the treadmill. But as we're working, he's motivating. Get your best. You got 15 more minutes, 5 more, last 10 minutes. Let's go. We get on the rower, then we're doing weights. But I don't have to think about it because he's coaching me. And then I'm with other people. So I am competitive. I like healthy competition, right? And you're sitting, you're looking at somebody else and they're going a little bit faster, so you're like, wait a minute, I don't want to be behind, so let me pick it up, right? And then it's fun. It's more fun to share when you're with other people and it lifts you. So
Mhm.
I love the masterminds. Unfortunately, I didn't make it Saturday, but I absolutely love masterminds. And I had many aha moments in Jennifer's personal development program. So we
Yeah.
need all of these things to grow.
We absolutely do. We absolutely do. So um thank you so much, Michelle, for being here
Yes.
with us. Thank you, Kim, for
Oh,
being on with the show, and all the viewers. I hope that you guys, bottom line, mindset. That's what we're getting from today's show. So,
The-
Michelle, if they want to reach out to you and they want to learn more about
yes.
your programs, where do they go? How do they connect?
You can connect at vwbcoaching.com. I have a schedule there, and I think I sent you the Linktree link where I have like whatever classes are coming up. I have a women's cohort that starts today. It's an 8-week cohort where I take you through the journey for the next 60 days. I just have all kinds of classes and programs that you can definitely find there.
Okay, beautiful. So you guys remember that. Check out VWB, correct?
Yep.
Coaching.com. So
Yep.
there's the link. Reach out to Michelle. I even tagged her on my post on my profile so you can friend request her or reach out to her. So thank you so much, everyone. God
Thank you for
bless
having me, both of
you.
you, inviting me to your show. It was great.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
so
thank
great
And
to
more
meet
you.
coffee.
you. I know.
Yes. Thank you. You
We'll
guys
have
have
to
a
have you
wonderful.
back.
Yes, we do. We do. I
Yes.
agree. Thank you guys so much. God bless. You guys have a
God
great
bless you. Have a
rest of
wonderful
You
your day.
day.
too. Bye bye.
Bye.